welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with Kirk? I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm out. Welcome, welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm welcome, I'm welcome, I'm welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. I'm welcome, I'm welcome to Speak On It, 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 welcome to Speak, 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 Who You With Kirk, dog? Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, dog. Who You With Kirk, dog. Want to welcome everyone to the show. I know we running a little bit late today. It's been a rough day today. But we here. We are live. So tell your friends that we are live. You can always share it with your friends. Let them know that we are here and we are live. Welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is always in the house, and also Anchor is in the house also. We're going to talk tonight on a couple of things tonight. Shout out to California for showing up. They tried to do a recall on Governor Newsom, but he stood the test, and he's going to remain the governor of California. And a lot of things that was used during the election was the mask mandate. That's all that I think it was like 36 opponents that was trying to win, including Caitlyn Jenner, that tried to win also, but only got like 1.2% of the votes. And so we're going to hit on that a little bit tonight. And also we're going to know it's been a while since we talked about R. Kelly. His trial is still going on, so we are going to talk about that a little bit tonight. And also Jason Dolan. Yeah. We're going to talk about that, and he took a plead guilty for his part in the January 6th terrorist attack. So we're going to talk about that also tonight. And then anything else that is on your mind that you want to get off your chest, we can also speak on that too. So let's get this party started. I'm going to switch up the stories a little bit. So we're going to start off with R. Kelly. So with the trial of R. Kelly, which is crazy, this is like day number 16 with him of his trial, day 16. And I believe there have been at least 2 male accusers that came out. It also came out that they are requesting for a mistrial in this case also. It's going to be hard for him to get a fair trial, but I still stand where I stand. If he did it, he need to be held accountable for it. And that's pretty much it on that part. If all these things are true, yes, he should be held accountable. So it came out today that judge allowed juries to hear tapes that capture R. Kelly verbally and physically assaulting accusers. said this additional evidence came just 24 hours after a previous accuser testified to witness a sexual act between R. Kelly and the late R&B singer Aaliyah. Please let Aaliyah rest in peace, because she's not on trial. She's not here to defend herself. Let her rest. Um, so on Tuesday, day 16 of the federal sex trafficking trial against disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly, Brooklyn judge granted prosecutor the ability to provide additional audio and video evidence that allegedly shows R. Kelly verbally and physically assaulting multiple accusers. Per USA Today, the prosecutor team provided a letter supporting the motion that would allow jury to hear two videos from 2008, which Kelly can be heard berating, threatening, and inflicting violence on two different women. The recorder excerpt showed the type of physical and psychological abuse the defendant employed to exert and maintain control over women and girls with whom he was engaged in sexual relationship, and two, his regular use of audio and video recording to maintain control of female and protect the charges. Criminal enterprise, the filing explained. In one video, as Kelly can be heard angrily accusing an unidentified woman of lying and threatening consequence before he eventually began to assault her. If you lie to me, I'm going to fuck you up, he said. And the second, the irate entertainer accused another woman, identified as Jane Doe, number 20, in court document of stealing a Rolex watch from him. You better not ever take from me again. I will be in Florida and something will happen to you. You understand what I'm telling you, Kelly said. Um, ABC News add the prosecutor were originally planning to have the second woman take the stand as a witness, but changed course after she started to have panic attack and appeared to have a breakdown while listening to those tapes in preparation for her testimony. The filing also note that Kelly previous bragged about having cameras everywhere across his Chicago studio in multiple locations. Kelly is currently charged with 22 federal counts across New York, Illinois, and Minnesota, including charges of sex crimes, human trafficking, child pornography, racketeering, obstruction of justice, kidnapping, and forced labor. He has pled not guilty to all charges. Now, the thing is, how if he beat this case in New York, um, how can he get a fair trial in any other state that he's facing trial? Because who don't know about this trial? It's going to be impossible. Are they going to call those same witness that testified in New York? And how can he get a fair trial? I'm not saying he didn't do it, because R. Kelly, it's been rumored for a while that he liked little kids or young underage girls. Even when he was first came out, he used to hang around at the high school. You're a grown man. You going up to the high school for what? Um, and then the situation with Aaliyah, ran off, got married, but she's not on trial. But they want to continue to bring up Aaliyah. I noticed that, well, I guess not too long ago, they came to an agreement where I guess the family wanted the rights to be able to have her music played. And you can also stream her music now. So Um, if you cut on just about any radio, you're gonna hear some Aaliyah, which it brings back memories. She has some great songs that R. Kelly produced majority of them, if not all of them. But at the same time, that's the artist R. Kelly, who is a genius. But the Robert Kelly, that's a whole different situation. You have to separate the two. Now, I'm all about if you do the crime, you do the time. But what are the chances of him getting a fair trial if he beat this case in Brooklyn and these other states? How can he get a fair trial? Um, it's going to be kind of hard to do it because everybody know R. Kelly, everybody know what he's known for, and it's going to be one of those situations where um, who's not paying attention to this trial? Because I'm sure all those prosecutors that are waiting for their time to have them in court, they paying attention to everything that has been said in this first trial, and they're gonna use everything they can to um, to hold it against them. That's what I feel, but I don't know. I'm not in law, so I would like to know your opinion about it. How you feel about it? Do you think R. Kelly will get a fair trial? Yeah, we all know he have issues, and his team should have been strong enough to tell him, "Hey, this is wrong. Leave the babies alone. Find you a grown woman. There's plenty of them out here." Now, there was some grown women that he allegedly abused also. So, um, but messing with kids, that's the issue, and so it's kind of strange. So hopefully, um, they uh, do the right thing, let justice be done in these other states. He get a fair trial. Welcome all aboard. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in, supporting the show. I know we came on a little bit late tonight. It it been a rough day for me. I'm not gonna even lie to you. I came home, took a shower, and dozed off. So it was a rough day for me, but I'm here. I'm here. I'm committed. So um, people claim to have a live while everyone knew she was being abused. Yeah, um, everyone claimed to love Aaliyah, but Aaliyah, she's she's still one of those people that um, well, I'm gonna just put it out there. Unfortunately, in the society that we living in today, and even back then was kind of the start of it. When you have a artist like R. Kelly, and he's producing you, making music with you, rising you to be a star, and you're around this person all the time. Well, teenagers have crush on people, and unfortunately, in that situation, R. Kelly wasn't strong enough to say, "Hey, no, this is not good. This is not good." But he probably came on to her, and she have a crush on him, and unfortunately, one thing led to another way, and it shouldn't happen like that. I know I've seen a story the other day. Didn't get a chance to read it, but I believe the father, no, the uncle, called their parents out about the situation. And I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. But they called he called the parents out because the thing is, they said her parents didn't protect her. Which at this point, when you're dealing with a teenager trying to get in any type of business, you should never leave that child alone, no matter how great of a person you think this person is. And with all the rumors that was going on about R. Kelly back then, you definitely don't want to leave your child alone. And that's just one of those bad decisions that they made. And I'm trying to find that story about what her uncle had to say, because he pretty much said that they was wrong for that. Da, da, da. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. If you're just not joining us, we are live, and sometimes people may mention something, uh, and we have to search for it. So I'm trying to find the story where Leah uncle had something to say about that situation where he felt like the parents did not protect her. And you definitely need to protect our kids. Hold on, got a caller coming in. Just a minute. Hold on, all aboard. Let me put you on speaker for we can hear you. Speak on it.
Hey, Kurt, dog, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing all right. Just like you said, today was a long day, there'll be a new one tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Happy to be able to join you tonight.
I can sleep late tomorrow. Well, kind of late tomorrow. Sleeping late for me is about 7:30 in the morning. Unfortunately.
So you're gonna still rise with the sun.
You say what now?
So you won't let the sun will beat you by a few moments.
Yeah, I just, it's hard for me to sleep late. I have to be extremely tired, and I'm like, all right, like today I came home from work, took a shower, and I said, okay, I'm gonna get up, start preparing for the show. Then my wife called, said, hey, you're not doing the show tonight? I said, oh, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm thinking about it. So I got up, said, yeah, let me go and get this done. So how you been?
It's good that you have that motivating factor in your life that will push you when you might feel like you might not be in the best position to do it, or you might be a little tired, but it's good that, you know, she motivates you so that you can get there and be motivation to the rest of us.
Yeah, I feel you on that. So how are you doing?
I'm tired.
I can hear it in your voice. I can definitely hear it in your voice.
I've been helping a friend with a restaurant because I don't know if I mentioned it, but I cook as well. And I'm helping a friend with a restaurant, and I've just been straining my voice, having to yell out these tickets and everything. But I said, let me get on here and make my opinion known. But I'm gonna do it in a quiet place tonight.
I feel you on that. Sometimes you just gotta whisper what you have to say. So where's the restaurant located? What city?
Oh, it's in Miami. It's
okay.
A steakhouse in Miami.
Oh, a steakhouse. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I love a good steak.
Oh, you're from Texas, so I know you do.
Oh yeah. I love.
You know they can't hold a candle to Texas.
We Texas is kind of different, but our governor's, I don't know. I don't know. I think we need to admit him into the hospital and get checked out itself, because um, so I don't know. He's full of it.
But we're neck and neck. We're neck and neck. I just wake up every day and I say, which state is gonna be? It's gonna be making the headlines. Like, is it gonna be Texas or Florida? And then every now and then, a Tennessee will throw themselves in the ring. But you know, they can't stand the heat with the craziness we have going on. So
yeah, and I think
California's in the ring.
Yeah, California, which they actually they had that recall election yesterday, and their governor is going to stay in place, um, which I just seen the guy named Eager, I believe. We talked
Larry
about
Elder.
Yeah, Edgar. We talked about him last week, that he was some of the things he said. He don't feel like they should have a mask mandate. They should open completely back up. The kids shouldn't have a mask mandate at school. All the things that Greg Abbott have said, and those are what they're trying to do to get in position, because they feel that everybody is going to follow them if they go against science. And my whole,
Well, I can raise you one.
I didn't hear you.
I said I can raise you one. He also said that white people, former slave owners, need their reparations, and no one's speaking on that yet. So, that's one of his big. That was one of his big points, and I'm surprised people didn't jump on it. But you know,
I did not hear that. I didn't see that part. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick. He said former slave owners should receive reparation, which is crazy. I've seen people say slavery wasn't that bad, and that's because they probably did not live with it. It probably did not affect them directly, and so they basically just say whatever to kind of get their name out there. They'll say anything to kind of have people to pay attention to them, kind of like the TikTok user. I don't know if you've seen the video. She basically lied about a lynching, allegedly lied about a lynching. Talking about some young black kid had touched a white woman butt, and as this woman was dying from COVID, she mentioned all this information to her, but she won't put out the information for people can find out exactly what happened. And it happened in Louisiana. So
oh boy, not Louisiana.
Yeah. So but they're saying that she's not being honest about it. They don't think it's true. They don't believe it's true. She just kind of made it up. Which in 3 days.
That would be a new culture. They have a history of doing that over there in Louisiana.
Yeah. They said in 3 days she actually had what was it, 15 million views on that one particular episode. Yeah, I'm like, that's.
I'm really just tired of everyone trying to just like trying to still eat off the backs of black people, off of everything. I mean, the TikTok creators themselves had to do a boycott where they were saying, enough. We're tired of creating content to all of these other people. It's like, I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship or almost parasitic relationship at this point. Like, just if you can't come up with content, you know, blame it on a black person. If something, if you commit a crime, say a black man did it, I wish they could think of other races and at least be a bit more creative. They've had all this time.
Yeah. And I did just find that story that you mentioned about Uncle Ruckus, Larry
Don't do that.
Larry Uncle Ruckus Elder, saying that slave owners should have been paid reparation. I don't know. Between him and Candace on, they both have flown over the cuckoo nest and fell and bumped their head.
And it still didn't work.
Yeah. And then he had the nerve to argue that they should. Appreciate y'all, California. That's all I can say. I have a lot of family out in California. I'm glad they showed up and told their friends, hey, get out and vote because we don't need this fool in office. Because that's crazy. Welcome to the show, T-Cal. I see you flipped in tonight on what's the night? Wednesday night. Welcome to the show.
How are you doing, T-Cal?
Thank you for always supporting the show. Then you said next up should be Jay-Z. What's
I can think of that. I'm entitled to my opinion.
Yes, you are. Just bring facts, though, because we will. We will verify now.
Okay, and I so far you fact checked me, and I haven't come here with misinformation.
True.
So far, because you would have called me out on it. Okay, my opinion is that Jay-Z is right along with R. Kelly. There was a culture of abuse towards children,
well,
especially in that era and beyond, but especially.
Well, it all depends.
R. Kelly was.
Well, just because the culture is like that, certain people in that culture does not necessarily mean Jay-Z is a part of it. Now, I know it's been rumored that he have another child before he got with Beyonce and all of this, but as for abuse, dealing with kids, I personally haven't heard.
I'm gonna keep that. Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown. I think the only reason R. Kelly, Foxy Brown was a child. Lil' Kim was 17 years old when she was posing for her iconic album cover. Foxy Brown was a child, and she was talking about having Il Nana, and he was a person she was sleeping with, according to all of them. And when R. Kelly was accused and then acquitted, I'll give him that he was acquitted the first time. R. Kelly and Jay-Z came out with a not guilty tour, which to me it says that he had mutual interest. He was mutually invested in R. Kelly not being found guilty. But it's just interesting that now they're all trying to distance themselves. A lot of them were doing that same disgusting stuff. I think R. Kelly just took it to the point. I mean, we've heard of the tapes. I've never seen it, but we've heard of the things that he's done to people. So, and I think if it weren't for Aaliyah passing, I don't think R. Kelly would have ever been in trouble for these things. I think it's because Aaliyah has been catapulted to this like princess, immortalized status. I think that is the reason why he's being held accountable. And she was a victim.
Yes, Aaliyah was a victim. Hold on.
Regardless if her parents don't protect her or not.
Hold on real quick. You are listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dove. We are discussing the R. Kelly trial with All Aboard, and also she's bringing us some news about Jay-Z. And so I know it's old news, but it is coming up. We're getting ready to start part 2 on Anchor, so stand by real quick. That's not what I'm trying to do. Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog. I'm Who You With Kurt Dog. We are finishing up on starting part 2. So while you was talking, All Aboard, I was quiet because I was paying attention to what you were saying, but I was also pulling up some stuff about what you was talking about with Jay-Z. And yes, I did find a story that said Foxy Brown claimed Jay-Z took her virginity, gave her gonorrhea, and has a sex tape with Jamie Foxx. Now, I don't know what type of sex tape that is. I don't know. Now, this story actually came out, and it was posted May 10, 2013, 92 Q Jams. I actually had this up. That's what I'm looking at the story at. So now, as for trying to see if they have anything about her age at that time. But it say, according to Foxy, Jay-Z took her virginity, slept with former NBA player. Ooh, I don't know. We might need to do some more checking on this, because talking about he slept with a former NBA player.
But listen.
I'm listening.
We don't want your show getting blackballed. Like, you're getting into dangerous territory.
Yeah, I know. I know, but if it's the truth, we also need to report the truth. And then on top of that, see, this is probably a story we'll have to take up on Anchor, do some more investigation, because so I'm gonna have to definitely look more into. I don't know if it's true. It's allegedly, and if someone that is familiar with this story, let us know. So now, according to, and this came out April 22nd, 2011, said according to Foxy Brown, she was 15 at the time. So hold on real quick. I hate when something open up in the middle of me talking. It just kind of threw me off. But allegedly she was 15 at the time. And I don't know a whole bunch about it, but I'm gonna have to do some more research about it and kind of see how everything else. Now, that's kind of goes back to the point. Sometimes as a teenager, we may have a crush on someone that we admire, and this is male and females. I know earlier I said teenage girls, but it's for male and female, because I remember when I was a teenager, I had a crush on some teachers myself. So But the thing is,
but it's up to the adult. It's up to the adult.
exactly, the adult is the one that have to stop it. Be like, hey, need to chill on this. And that's kind of like years ago, I used to be a manager at a restaurant, and I had an employee. I was in my early 20s, and she was 16 or 17 or something, and she made a pass at me. I said, no, no. First of all, you work for me. Most importantly, you are under age. So I won't never cross that line. So because of that, I had to take a stand and say, nope, that's not gonna happen. And she respected that because I told her up front. First time she said something, I stopped it right then. Nope. And unfortunately, um, a lot of teenagers, I remember many years ago when I was a teenager, you see somebody think is attractive, you flirt with them, but everybody don't take it the same. And unfortunately, um, dealing with Jay-Z, R. Kelly, um, these superstars, and they're people trying to get into the business, they would do some things that never should take place just to secure their spot in that business, thinking that, oh, if I don't do this,
Well,
they may not work with me. But go ahead, what you finna say.
well, and that's the thing is that I believe Aaliyah was 12 when she was introduced to him. I believe she was 12 or 13 years old, around that age. And he was an adult, and there was also that power dynamic, like you said. So he wasn't only her boss; he was her mentor. He was a superstar, and so the power dynamic was already unbalanced. And then there was the fact that she was a child. But the thing is that he knew all of those things. As a child, you don't understand the repercussions. You don't understand the nuances. But as an adult, you do. Like you know what I mean. So that's why it's so wrong because of course a child could have a crush, but you as an adult, you understand the consequences of your actions, where they might not.
Yes.
But they don't.
They saying that Aaliyah was either 13 or 14 when she met R. Kelly, and at 15 is when they got married. So, but still, I hate to. Well, no, I don't hate to say it. The parents need to take responsibility also because regardless of who your child is working with, if you're not there personally to make sure everything is on the up and up, you need to have someone that can stand in that not somebody who's working for this company. Have somebody who to stand in to make sure no foolishness going on. And I just feel that if R. Kelly, I guess I'd say this, do I feel like he done these things that they're accusing him of? Yeah. I feel like he done majority of them.
Now here's the question.
I didn't hear you.
Here's the question. Do you think that some of them, if it were an adult, could some of those things be consensual? Because there are people that are in relationships as adults that choose to be in those sorts of lifestyles.
Well, even when To answer your question, first of all, yes, even if it was adults, because when that movie came out, Surviving R. Kelly came out, there was some adults that was involved. There was a young lady here locally. I don't know if she still live here, but she was a local DJ on a major radio station here. R. Kelly came to town for a concert, and she ended up meeting him. And because the radio station was the one that was sponsoring the concert and all of this, and they basically, when she met him, she mentioned she never been to his concert, and because of that, he said, "Okay, I'm gonna invite you to come to my concert." She come, and he said, "Well, look, why don't you meet me in? I believe it was in Denver." I paid for her to go because he didn't fly. I didn't know he didn't fly, but they said he didn't fly, so uh, paid for her to meet him in Denver. She meet him up there. He come in, and as soon as he walked into the room, she got there like a day or two before him. But as soon as he got into the room, he sat on the couch and told her, "I'm gonna teach you how to please me." And from that point, it really that's when the abuse started. But she stayed with him. And sometimes people get blindsided by a person's status instead of looking at the person for who they are. Me personally, if I meet a superstar or anything like that, I'm gonna treat them just like I would anyone else for the simple fact they still human. They might have more money than me, but they still human. So I don't get excited about meeting famous people, which I have met a lot of them in my time, but I don't get excited about it. Go ahead.
So I'm shocked to hear that. You said that he doesn't fly. So is that why he believes he can fly?
Well, that's what they said on the that's what they said on Surviving Art. Well, I'm sure at some point he have flown, but for if I'm not mistaken, on Surviving R. Kelly, she mentioned that he didn't fly, or maybe he drove to Denver, because from Dallas to Denver is a 12-hour trip. So maybe he just went on the tour bus, and I don't know. But I believe she mentioned he don't fly, or he don't like to fly. So, but she did say.
No wonder he wanted to really burn this right away.
Well, I feel like this, when R. Kelly came out with I Believe I Can Fly. R. Kelly had some great music. That's something that no one can ever take away from him, because he was a genius when it came down to making music. He can make music out of a couple of lyrics and be like, "Wow, that's good." But then again, um, R. Kelly did some stuff that was kind of questionable. I don't know if you've seen that series Trap in the Closet. Did you ever watch those videos or anything like that?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Huh?
I've heard of them. Yep, I think I've seen a couple. I think I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, they was interesting. Just kept it going, but I felt like R. Kelly, he did a couple of songs that was borderline gospel, which he done some stuff with Kurt Franklin. I think it was Franklin, Mary J. Blige, and a couple other singers that was on there, which was really good. I felt like he should have came out with a gospel artist, or should have had that opportunity, uh, not just singing about the Lord, but also getting to know the Lord. And I think it would have prevented a lot of this stuff he's going through today, because he was lucky to get off the first time, but he continued to do it.
I think had he gone to prison the first time, I think he deserved to go to prison the first time.
Yeah, he should have.
That just goes to show you that if you don't have rehabilitation and consequences, that you don't just change. You don't just change without doing some work. And I don't know if that can be changed. But if you had a public trial in a tape, and mind you, he threw his brother under the bus. He said that it was his brother in the tape and everything. And you would think that would have scared him enough to say, like, listen, now the world's eyes are on me. But it seemed like it emboldened him. And he was a predator, in my opinion.
Yes.
Allegedly. He's not convicted yet. And he's hurt a lot of people, allegedly. So I want to see what happens. But you know how they say with feds, their conviction rate is pretty high.
True. And what
I know that his support is going to.
And what you're saying is all true, which R. Kelly is allegedly a pedophile. He basically, when the video came out, I never seen it, didn't want to see it, but when it came out and they talking about he peeing on this little child and looking straight at the camera, and then he lied and said it wasn't him. Well, first of all, I don't trust two type of people, liars and thieves, because I just don't fool with them. And he lied and said it wasn't him from what I was told. Now, when he beat that case last time, he should have went somewhere and sat down, but he didn't. So I think they're gonna use everything.
He upgraded his equipment and started probably.
You said what now?
He probably went from VHS tapes to DVDs. He probably went from VHS tapes to DVDs.
To digital. Exactly.
He probably upgraded it.
I wouldn't be surprised at all, but like I said before, R. Kelly, I personally feel like he's guilty, but it's going to be up to the court of law. And I know Miss Risky sent me an article the other day saying that they're trying to get a mistrial in his case. And matter of fact, I'm thinking she sent me an article about yeah. Matter of fact, she sent me an article about Aaliyah's uncle. Said Aaliyah's uncle Barry Hackerson threw her mother under the bus. My sister knew more than we thought she knew. The R. Kelly trial that being held in New York is still underway, and more details are being made to the public. Notable part of the Kelly trial is the alleged dealing with the late R&B singer Aaliyah, who was underage at the time. Now speaking up about the late singer relationship with R. Kelly is her uncle, Barry Hackerson. Aaliyah's legacy has lived on since her untimely passing on August 25th, 2001. The Rock the Boat singer is now seeing a resurgence in the form of new fans and listeners, as well as her loyal fan base, thanks to this staggering release of her albums. However, while her music is being released, Aaliyah's name is also being spoken in a New York City courtroom. Multiple accounts from various witnesses are being told of R. Kelly's relationship with Aaliyah. They did say Angela claimed to have witnessed an incident involved the two when Aaliyah was around 13 or 14. So it's a possibility she did meet R. Kelly when she was 12, because one of the witnesses said she witnessed them messing around when she was 13 or 14. And I'm trying to find the part about her mother. Um, uh, he said, I think my sister knew a lot more.
There's no way her mother didn't know.
Yeah. Said, I think my sister knew a lot more than what we thought she knew. He said in a now viral clip. And the thing is, because a girl will always discuss what's going on with them. Welcome to the show, Marcella Smith. I see you snuck up in the house on a Wednesday night. I appreciate you for tuning in, supporting the show. So I think her mother probably did know more, for the simple fact, if you're 13 and you're messing around with this grown man, well, a mother, a good mother, is gonna know the changes that her daughter is facing. Um, what if it's good or bad? Now, I could be wrong about this, but I'm thinking in Surviving R. Kelly, it alleged that um, possibly it was something went on between him and her mother too. I cannot, don't quote me on that, but I remember hearing something like that, either Surviving R. Kelly or it was uh, an interview or something that somebody gave um, that talked about that. So
I've heard that rumor. I've heard that as well.
and then on top of that, you got to look at it. The mother, um, um, the mother also is one of those type of people that she was at that age where here it is. She's working with one of the biggest stars in the world. She's have access to him. Her daughter is working with him, and all of these things. And now, um, it's kind of like, hey, I have access to him. Let me live out my fantasy. Allegedly, live out my fantasy, and that's one of those things that could be a possibility.
It could
Uh,
have been a thing as well where there are certain people, certain men, or certain people. I'm not going to just say men, but there are certain people that that actually choose partners so that they can have access to a child. And it could have been a thing where she was just caught up in him and he used that to his advantage. I have a personal story with a, can I just tell it really quickly?
yeah, go ahead.
If you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I was dating someone. And I have custody of my niece, and she's had like a troubled history, and so this guy that I was dating, I just felt this vibe with him where I felt like he was trying to groom her because he was very controlling with me, but then he would say things to her and tell her not to tell me, or he would give her money and tell her not to tell me. And I said that, there's nothing, you should never tell a child what they can't tell their guardian. And I had to cut him off when I found out. Absolutely not. And I could be wrong, but I'm not taking a chance. But there are some men that look for that access, and there's some women that do the same thing. So all I know is whether she offered her daughter to him or not, just because someone's offering something doesn't mean you have to accept it. I mean, they're selling slaves right now in Libya, but I'm not buying them. You know,
exactly.
So that doesn't excuse his behavior, but she needs to be prosecuted as well. If she, like, let's take them all down.
Yeah, you got to.
Because there's something fishy about the way that she's handled her daughter's legacy.
Well, not just her, but also some of the other parents. I believe the mother and father that was, I want to say they was out of Florida. I may be wrong about the state, but they met R. Kelly. They knew about the rumors, and in surviving R. Kelly, they actually talked about that when they first met him, and he seemed like he was a nice guy, and everything that people have said in the trial before, they didn't believe it. But people gotta start realizing, regardless of a person's status, how they treat you and all of this, you got to look past all of that, especially when it's coming down to kids. Now, because we hear all the time where the mother boyfriend have a boyfriend or husband have touched on kids, and unfortunately, and I would tell everybody, do a search of your zip code and find out how many sex offenders is in your neighborhood. Because I used to live in a neighborhood years ago, and I did a search, and I found out it was more female sex offenders in my neighborhood than guys. Which a lot of people like, no, that ain't true. That can't happen. Yes, it can. It could definitely happen. So you have to know who you bringing around your kids, what neighborhood you're living in, and that's something that everybody should automatically do. Pull up sex offenders and put your zip code in.
Boys and girls. Boys need to be protected as well, because
yes,
I know so many young men, so many men who have told me about those horror stories, and that's not okay, and it can create sexual deviancy. You know, when people don't take it as seriously, but that goes back to R. Kelly. Look what they're saying happened to him, and what probably created this hypersexual monster is, the abuse he suffered as a child. It's no excuse, but we have to protect our young boys as well as our young girls.
Yes, exactly. Because what happened is,
there's a lot of nasty women.
There's a lot of women out here that are pedophiles. They will, they just as worse as the guys. Because the thing is, you have to know who's around your kids. R. Kelly's sister, unfortunately, it came out that allegedly his sister molested him as a child. And unfortunately, in the Black community, that have taken place quite a bit, and has always been said, we don't take it outside of the household. Don't let people know what's going on when they have this one family member locked up in the back room somewhere, and they just say, "Oh, just leave Uncle Jojo or whoever back there. You don't go back there." But never said why not. So it is very bad in the Black community. I cannot recall what movie it was, but R. Kelly, not R. Kelly, Tyler Perry came out with a movie years ago, and it was dealing with this situation. And just so happened, a group of friends and we was together on a Sunday watching this movie, and I asked the question. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna give everybody a piece of paper, and I put yes and no." And I asked the question, "Have you ever been sexually assaulted um, growing up as a child?" And out of 12 of us, I think um, had it been nine to answer yes, one refused to answer at all. And that was a small group of people. So it's hold your comment.
The microcosm, that's a pretty good.
Hold on real quick, Olive Boy. Hold on. You're listening to Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. Anchor, we're getting ready to start part 3. Welcome back to Who You With. Who You With Kirk, though. Speak On It with Who You With Kirk, though. We're starting part 3 of tonight's show on Anchor right now. We're talking about a lot of things, dealing with R. Kelly trial, dealing with pedophiles all together. So definitely continue to tune in and send your comments and welcome everyone that is on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is always in the house. Please like, share, tell a friend about us, and be a part of the show when we are live. Go ahead, all aboard. I apologize about cutting you off on Anchor when I'm recording a live show. Um, it only give us 30 minutes at a time. So um, and if I don't,
I have to check out Anchor.
Anchor is pretty good, and for the ones that don't know, you can actually subscribe to the channel Anchor. It's a low fee of $2.99 per month. We have some shows on there that is strictly for subscription, and we're going to be doing more shows like that. And some of those shows is going to be one of those Kurt Dog After Dark, um, where it's an age restriction on there. So you will hear about a lot of stuff that I have experienced, and you'll hear about uh, let's say you'll hear about some different things. So you definitely want to check it out. Speak on it with Who You With Kirk, though, on anchor.fm. But you can also listen to those shows on 7 different platforms. I know Apple Podcasts, several other platforms you can listen also. But for the ones that we're doing privately, that's strictly on subscription. So if you want to know what's going on, subscribe $2.99 a month. Check it out. And if it's something you want us to talk about, we can have a heart-to-heart talk about it. That is no holds bar. It's nothing off limit on that. So we can definitely do that.
Well, this conversation, I didn't expect it to get this deep. So I can imagine what would be the no holds barred conversation, because you always keep it real and keep it funky and keep it original.
Well, that's the only way I know how to be, but I know with Facebook, YouTube, because we got flagged a couple of weeks ago when we was talking about this R. Kelly trial and stuff like that. We got flagged from it, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna pay more attention to Anchor which I love the platforms we're on, but I don't want that limitation. Now we're speaking about stuff that is in the media, and somehow we got flagged by it. So at least on Anchor, you pay for the subscription.
That R. Kelly still has his lawyer.
You say what now?
He still has his lawyer. I said R. Kelly still has his lawyers that are going out and putting out those claims. You understand? You know, he's still paying for the lawyers.
Yeah.
So you have to expect that. And I'm gonna join you on Anchor. I'm gonna definitely subscribe. I want to know. I want to hear that the after dark part.
and put like this, it's gonna be some stories that we're gonna do that is it's gonna be interesting. That's all I can say. It's gonna be interesting. And if anyone ever want to join me on Anchor as a guest, let me know. We can set up the arrangement. Have you on as a guest, and then we can really talk. So it's going to be interesting on Anchor, and also just trying to get it going. I've been dealing with Anchor for a while, and I haven't been promoting it like I should be. But now I'm like, you know what? Let's build Anchor up, and I will put shows on there. And I'm like, hey, we could do After Dark, which Miss Risky and I have always talked about. I always run stuff by Miss Risky all the time. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about doing like a After Dark, do a subscription. And she was like, yeah, you should. But then I'm like, well, I don't know how people may feel about it. So, but it's we're gonna start adding shows on there quite a bit. So definitely tune in to that and click the notification on there for when we do add shows. When they post, you can automatically be the first one to do it. The shows normally post about 6 in the morning, so um, so definitely check it out. But I'm as for tonight, you never know what might happen. Um, Talked about R. Kelly, then you called in and we talked about other stuff. And it's and I don't want to be rude. Welcome to the show, Patrick Times. I see you putting chats in. I'm not displaying your message or anything like that. Because it's my choice. So um so that's have all I have to say about that. It's my choice.
Thank you for that. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I'm gonna have to run.
Okay.
I'm still be tuning in to listen to the rest of the show, but I appreciate you for having me.
No problem. I appreciate you for always support. And when I come to Miami, I want me a good steak. And want,
yes.
And want me a night. Matter of fact, text me the name of the restaurant. And you can text to this number too. Text me the name of this restaurant. Let me. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Well, I won't be there for long. I'm just. Well, no, I'm just helping a friend out at this restaurant.
Okay.
I have a food truck that I'm opening soon, so I'm gonna let you know the details about that. But thank you for supporting, and I will talk to you soon, guys.
All right, I appreciate it. All aboard. Stay safe. Hey, have you already gone to take your second vaccine yet?
Yes, I did, and I haven't had any. I think maybe that could be some of the reasons why I'm feeling a little bit scratchy as well. That could be some of it.
Okay.
Like in my throat. But overall, I still feel fine.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, whenever they start the booster, I said I'm gonna do it because I work in the public, so I need to protect myself at all times. So, but I appreciate you for calling in tonight. And
absolutely, and I still wear my mask.
Oh yeah, definitely do, definitely do. So So definitely be safe on that. And uh, you always can call in whenever you want to, and we can have a discussion. So, and thank you for following the rules about calling in and not blocking your number, unlike some folks. But all right,
Always.
all right. I'm gonna let you go, and we'll be talking
Always.
to you soon.
Yeah,
All right, you too. Bye.
okay, bye-bye.
Man, that was all aboard. Always supporting the show. She would call in, drop some gems on us, some knowledge, and um, so that's always a good thing. Having listeners that um, having listeners that actually uh, to bring the show together. So you may not be all aboard, but if you ever feel like you want to call in and discuss something, you can always call in. The number is always strolling across the stream, 972 591 3665. 972-591-3665. It's just a couple of rules. Please do not block your number. I'm not going to answer. Because we have a lot of spam calls that's going on, which I'm working with my cell phone provider and let them know I'm gonna leave y'all. Y'all don't get it under control. I feel like I shouldn't have to pay for another service to for y'all can block these spam calls. I pay enough already, so I shouldn't have to pay more. So AT&T, get it together. That's all I'm gonna say. Get it together. I'm gonna say goodbye, just like I did um, the other companies. I give you the opportunity to solve it, and if you don't solve it, I'm gonna get up out of here. Marcella said, "I got my second shot today. I'm fully vaccinated." Yes, but still, don't let your guards down. Don't let your guards down, because a lot of people feel like, and not only that, Marcellus, even though you have your second shot, you definitely need to protect yourself and protect people around you. Continue to wear your mask, because actually they tell you you shouldn't be going around people for a certain length of time. So until those symptoms stop, if you have any symptoms, until they stop. So definitely protect yourself. Don't do like some people just because they vaccinated, they go out, turn up, then end up catching it again or somebody close to them getting it, and they wonder why. So, um, so I know we have a troll in the house tonight. So that's fine. I'm gonna let him do. Marcella said, "No, sir. I'm used to wearing this mask. This mask is a part of my wardrobe." Man, I have seen some people that coordinate their mask with their wardrobe, kind of like Nancy Pelosi. If you ever pay attention to her, and my wife pointed this out, said every time Nancy give a interview, her mask is matching her wardrobes. I'm like, she must have somebody on standby. Hey, I'm wearing this tomorrow. Can you please make me this? Um, so I can see that. Now, you know what will be crazy? And I for some reason I had this vision in my head. Um, Mr. Brown. Can you imagine can you imagine him matching this mask with his wardrobe? All those different colors. That will be a sight to see. Um, he probably don't have no teeth to brush, no way. I'm just saying. So you going around checking people drawers now, and One thing about me, I change my mask quite a bit. Um, if I wear two, and if uh, I wear two, so and if throughout the day, if one of them get dirty, I change it out. I also have a cloth mask. I wash those quite a bit. So what you're talking about, that may be what you're talking about. You probably used to not wiping your tail or washing your tail, and you can't tell the difference between your drawers and your mask. So uh, I don't know. So um, but anyway, that was a good conversation with all aboard about R. Kelly, and she mentioned um, Jay Z and also Foxy Brown. Uh, she mentioned about them, and apparently there's some truth to that because I believe they said Foxy Brown was maybe 15 when she met Jay Z, and Jay Z was 27. So I don't know. Um, um, so it's kind of, people is starstruck when it come down to certain people. They see them and then they turn around and be like, "Oh, I gotta do this, or if I'm gonna be famous, I gotta sell my soul to the devil." No, if you're talented enough and that person want to work with you, keep it on the up and up. Don't sell your soul to the devil. That's one thing that would always happen. If you do it one time, they're gonna expect for you to do it every time. And for people that are in positions like this, leave the babies alone. Uh, leave the babies alone. So if they're talented enough, let them let them perform. Don't mess them up mentally because the things that you're doing will mess them up mentally. Allow them to allow their lights to shine. Um, I don't know if maybe it's me, but I think Patrick Time have actually either he copying and pasting real quick, and he have all these strings up copying and pasting because all these messages he putting up. Um, and I don't have time for it tonight. So, but it's one other thing we're going to talk about before we get up out of here. Once again, congratulations and shout out to California for taking a stand, keeping Governor Newsom in office. They showed up and showed out at the polls. Hopefully, everybody else is paying attention to California. Voting do work because here it is. It was 36-1, uh, 36 candidate facing this one candidate, and the one still came out on top thanks to the people of California. Um, um, so that's a wonderful thing. Um, we're going to talk about Patrick Times' homeboy. Let me go back to it. Florida Oath Keeper member pleads guilty to January 6th Capitol riot charges. Um, so, a former U.S. Marine from Florida on Wednesday became the latest defendant associated with the Oath Keeper militia group to plead guilty to criminal charges related to the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot. Jason Dolan, 45 of Wellington, Florida, pled guilty to charges of conspiracy and obstruction and official proceeding. U.S. District Judge Ahmed Maitai said that under federal sentencing guideline, Dolan faced a prison term between 63 and 78 months. Uh, through the court could divert from the guideline. The judge said Dolan has already provided substantial assistance to investigator and would be available to provide grand jury and trial testimony and to be interviewed by an investigator. The U.S. Attorney Office in Washington, D.C. said that as of Wednesday, more than 600 defendants have been arrested on riot related charges. The riot by supporters of then President Donald Trump broke out as Congress met to certify Joe Biden November um, presidential election victory. Earlier, Trump gave a fiery speech falsely claiming his defeat was the result of fraud. Public records indicate um, that for other defendants linked to the Oath Keeper previously pled guilty to January 6 riot charges. Prosecutors said that over 50 defendants have pled guilty to federal charges connected to the Capitol riot and that many will face incarceration and sentencing, while at least 40 riot-related guilty plea were to misdemeanor charges. 9 defendants have pleaded guilty to felonies, prosecutors said. An indictment laying out the criminal charges against Dolan and 17 other Oath Keeper defendants alleged that on January 6th, Dolan pushed his way to the front of the crowd on the Capitol East step and grabbed the arm of a police officer who pushed him away. Half an hour later, the indictment said Dolan joined a stack of Oath Keeper maneuvering its way up the Capitol step, which forcefully, eventually they entered it. So they're saying up to 78 months in jail, which is for a terrorist attack. That's not much time. Um, but at the same time, it's also one of those situations where people have to, they did it, so they need to be held accountable. And that's all to it. And don't give them a slap on the wrist. Give them the time that you would give any other terrorist and allow them to do those times. But we shall see how much time he should get. We've seen some get probation. We've seen some that say time served. But also, what's important too, he was seen pushing a police officer. If that was anybody else, it would be back to blue. But also back to blue, unfortunately, a lot of military and former police officer and firefighters have been accused of this also. So we're going to see. It's going to be interesting because you holler black to blue only when it's beneficial to you. So, so definitely we'll be keeping an eye on this. Tomorrow night, my home girl, Miss Risky, will be in the house. She will be in the house dealing with history. And I think we're going to do flashback Thursdays, talking about stories that we covered before because a lot of people do like to get updates. So we're going to talk about that several updates tomorrow. And so I think we're going to start calling Thursday flashback Thursdays or something. But we're going to have a great time as always. Um, and hopefully, y'all have a great time and stay safe. And also, Houston. Um, and I, I know y'all are catching hell right now. So definitely be safe for all my friends and family I know in Houston, um, because they're saying, I thought it had already made landfall, but I read something earlier said it could be a possible hurricane when it do make landfall. So definitely be safe on that. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to find that information. Um, uh-uh, I just seen something else. Oh wow, this just came out today. Hold on, how much time do we have on? 5 minutes. I think we can cover it. So remember in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the cop that was charged for third-degree murder, um, after she had called 911 and said that they were sitting in a car in a dark alley, didn't see anyone, but she walked up on the car and he thought he was a suspect. He shot across his partner and shot and killed her, not knowing who she was. Well, it just came out today that the ex-cop murder conviction reversed and 911 caller death. So the Supreme Court, Minnesota Supreme Court, throughout the third-degree murder conviction for a former Minneapolis police officer who fatally shot a woman who had called 911 to report a possible rape behind her home. Um, in its ruling in the case, Muhammad Noor, the Supreme Court also clarified the Wood Constitution, third-degree murder or depriving mind murder, saying the statute doesn't apply if the defendant action are directed at a particular person. So this is something we're gonna have to look into more and see. Um, I'm trying to see if they overturned the conviction, but it will go back to the district court. So hopefully we'll have more information on this tomorrow. And he've already served 28 months of his murder sentence. If sentenced to 4 years of manslaughter, he could be eligible for supervised release around the end of the year. So we're going to keep an eye on this and see if we can find out more updates on this also. But tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, we will be here at 8 p.m. on time. So definitely join us tomorrow night. Miss Risky and myself talking history, and she dug to the bottom of the crate for this one, so that's going to be interesting on that. And we're going to do flashback on stories that we covered before, as well as some new stories that have came out. So until tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, you can follow me on all social media, and you can also send emails, who you with kurtdog at mail.com. So until tomorrow night, I love each and every one of you. Until then, peace.